Welcome to the latest episode of Something from the Margin of My Bible, and this margin note comes from the 6th Psalm, Psalm 6. I will tell you before we even really get started in this that the 6th Psalm is one that, for the length it is, only, 10 verses. I have about as many notes in this psalm as maybe any other that I've studied to some degree at this point. So you may hear some things from the 6th Psalm in the future on this particular podcast as well, because I for one thing, I just love the psalm, but also I have a lot of notes dealing with it. But this particular note has to do with verses 2 and 3 of this particular psalm. And just to remind us of what's going on, I'm going to read verses 1 through 3, just so we remember the opening portion of this psalm. David wrote, again, Psalm 6, verses 1 through 3, O Lord, rebuke me not in your anger, nor discipline me in your wrath. Be gracious to me, O Lord, for I am languishing. Heal me, O Lord, for my bones are troubled. My soul also is greatly troubled. But you, O Lord, how long? Now, obviously, in the opening verse, David is talking about being rebuked by God. And so we have something to do here with something that's wrong between David and God. And so it has to deal, obviously, with sin or struggle, temptation, etc. And so here's the note that I have that deals with verses 2 and 3. It's an outline of 3 things that sin will affect. And so in the margin I have, sin will affect us, 1, physically. He mentions he is languishing and his bones are troubled. 2, it will affect us spiritually. My soul is greatly troubled. And then also, sin will affect us emotionally, as David asks, how long? And so the note in full reads, sin will affect us, 1, physically, languishing and bones. 2, spiritually, my soul. 3, emotionally, how long? And what a reminder that is of the consequences of sin in our lives. Again, I have a lot of notes on Psalm 6. You'll probably hear from that psalm again at some point in the future, but I thought this was a very helpful, brief outline. You may hear it preached by me at some point because it's a very important reminder for all of us, but I hope you'll have that in the margin of your Bible or something like it to encourage you when you read this very emotional 6th Psalm. Hopefully these things encourage your Bible study. Make sure you're subscribing to the podcast. We'll see you next week with something else from the margin of my Bible.